What if the only thing holding your future back is the way you feel right now? Not your effort, not your strategy, not even the affirmations you repeat, but the state you keep returning to when no one is watching. Because here's the truth. Every reality is false until you feel it's real. Every possibility is just floating, waiting until your body says yes to it. That's the part no one tells you. It's not the vision board. It's not the books. It's not the hours of thinking. It's the moment your nervous system stops waiting and starts embodying. Think about it. How many times have you said the words, "I am abundant," while still feeling the weight of lack in your chest? How many times have you tried to force belief while your body whispered doubt? That's the contradiction. And contradiction blocks creation. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you broadcast. And your broadcast is emotional, not intellectual. So here's the missing link. You don't manifest what you know. You don't manifest what you wish. You manifest what you feel as already true. If the emotion is lack, the signal is lack. If the emotion is waiting, the signal is waiting. And the field mirrors that back to you faithfully, consistently, without fail. This is why so many people stay stuck. They think the answer is more effort, more study, more repetition. But the field isn't counting your hours. It's measuring your coherence. And coherence happens when your thoughts and your feelings match. When your head says, "I am worthy," and your body feels safe enough to agree. When your mouth says, "I trust," and your chest stops tightening in fear. That's alignment. And alignment is what bends reality. Without it, you're just saying words. With it, you're shifting timelines. Because the field listens to your dominant frequency, not your pretty intentions. So let's pause here, be honest. What are you actually feeling most of the time? Are you relaxed? Are you open? Are you certain? Or are you hopping? Are you checking? Are you still waiting for evidence before you let yourself feel? Because if you're waiting, you're signaling separation. And separation tells the field not yet, almost, maybe, and the field gives you exactly that. More waiting, more almost, more maybe. Here's the reset. Emotion isn't just feedback, it's a command. When you feel from fear, you reinforce the version of you that expects fear. When you feel from joy, before the reason arrives, you collapse into the version of you where joy is normal. That's how timelines shift. Neville Goddard called it living in the end. Not pretending, not faking, but feeling so deeply into the state of your chosen reality that your body can't tell the difference. That your vibration stops waiting for proof and starts radiating conviction. And when that happens, reality has no choice but to follow. Because reality is not the cause, it's the mirror. So here's the first key. Stop waiting for reality to feel different so you can feel different. Start feeling different so reality can catch up. That's how the field works. Not effort, not time, feeling. And the question that matters most right now is simple. What are you loyal to? The feeling of the past or the feeling of the future? Because whichever one you serve is the one you collapse into form. Most people don't realize they're trapped in an emotional echo. They wake up thinking about their goals, but their body is still tuned to yesterday. The argument, the disappointment, the old story that says, "I always fail." That emotional memory becomes a cage, and the cage feels normal. This is the emotional inversion. Wanting a new future while rehearsing the feelings of the past. Saying I am free while carrying the tension of being trapped. Saying I am chosen while still feeling invisible. And the field listens to the feeling, not the words. That's why change feels slow. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because your emotional broadcast hasn't shifted yet. Here's the brutal truth. You're not feeling what's real. You're making real what you feel. The nervous system doesn't know the difference between memory and presence. When you relive an old wound, your brain fires the same pathways. Your body releases the same chemicals, and the field receives the same frequency. The past becomes active, and what's active becomes reality. That's why it repeats. The same patterns, the same outcomes, not because you're cursed, not because you're broken, but because your dominant feeling hasn't changed. You're sending the same signal while wishing for a new result. So let's flip this. The shift isn't about working harder. It isn't about collecting more knowledge. It's about teaching your body a new feeling, training your nervous system to feel from the timeline you want instead of the one you're trying to leave. That's the real discipline, emotional loyalty. Ask yourself right now, what emotions have I normalized that no longer belong to the version of me I want to be? Is it stress? Is it doubt? Is it waiting? Because as long as you keep rehearsing them, they'll keep showing up as your reality. The field doesn't argue. It doesn't negotiate. It mirrors. If your baseline is anxiety, it reflects scenarios that justify anxiety. If your baseline is ease, it reflects conditions that validate ease. So the question is not what do I want? The question is what am I willing to feel now? Because that choice is the code. That choice is what tunes your frequency. And the field always responds to the strongest signal. Here's the paradox. You've been waiting for the new life to make you feel new, but the new life is waiting for you to feel it first. That's the inversion. You don't wait for proof to feel peace. You feel peace to generate proof. You don't wait for love to feel chosen. You feel chosen and love appears. You don't wait for abundance to feel safe. You feel safe and abundance flows. And once you get this, everything changes. Because you realize you're not powerless. You're not stuck. You're broadcasting every moment, and the broadcast is emotion. So what would happen if you made the feeling of your desired future your baseline? Not once, not for a minute, but daily, consistently, until your body recognizes it as home. That's when timelines collapse. That's when reality reorganizes itself around you. The truth is, you don't need the old emotions anymore. You only keep them because they feel familiar. But familiar isn't safe. Familiar is just known. And the known keeps you recycling the past. So here's your next step. Decide which emotions you're ready to stop rehearsing. Decide which feelings belong to the old you. And then ask, am I willing to release them, even if they feel familiar, to finally feel the future? Because once you do, reality has no choice but to follow. There is a doorway between where you are and where you want to be. It doesn't open with effort. It doesn't open with logic. It opens when your body begins to feel the future as if it's happening now. That's the code. That's the signal. The nervous system is the transmitter. Your heart is the amplifier. Your emotion is the password. And when you activate that combination, the field can't ignore you. Think of it like tuning a radio. Each version of your life has a frequency. The version of you who lives in abundance has a signal. The version of you who wakes up in peace has a signal. The version of you already in love has a signal. You can't access those stations by wishing. You access them by matching the frequency. And frequency is always emotional. So here's the practice. Stop asking when. Start asking what would it feel like if it were here now. Drop the words. Drop the thoughts. Go straight to the feeling. What would safety feel like? What would being chosen feel like? What would freedom feel like? Let your body answer. Because when the body feels it, the field recognizes it. And when the field recognizes it, reality begins to shift. Not someday, now. This is what Neville meant by feeling is the secret. Not a metaphor, not poetry, a mechanism. Feeling is the proof your subconscious accepts. And once your subconscious accepts it, the field mirrors it. But here, where most people get stuck, they try to force the feeling. They push, they strain, but forcing is still lack. Straining is still separation. The key is to soften, to allow, to remember that the feeling already exists in you. You're not inventing it, you're uncovering it. So take a breath, slow down, feel into the possibility that it's already done. Let that emotion arise, let it spread, let it become safe, because safety is what locks it in. When your body feels safe in a new state, it stops clinging to the old one. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it becomes, the more consistent your broadcast. And consistency is what bends timelines. That's the science and the mystery. The field doesn't require your perfection. It requires your repetition. Every time you return to the new feeling, you carve a new pathway. In your brain, in your heart, in your field, and the old pathways begin to fade. So don't underestimate this. Feeling is not fluff. It's not extra. It's the main control panel of your life. Every moment you feel on purpose, you're programming the field. You're writing the code of your next chapter. And here's the most important part. You don't need the external world to justify it. You don't need the bank account to prove abundance. You don't need the partner to prove love. You don't need the achievement to prove worth. You create the proof by feeling first. That's how timelines shift. Not with effort, not with waiting, with emotion. There comes a moment when you stop asking when will it happen and you start living as if it already has. Not to fake it, not to trick the universe, but because you finally understand how reality works. Every reality is false until you feel it's real. The universe isn't testing you, it's reflecting you, and reflection doesn't come from effort. It comes from identity, who you are being when no one's watching, who you are feeling in the quiet moments. That's the broadcast the field picks up on. So let's bring this home. You don't need another technique. You don't need another breakthrough. You don't need to wait for signs. What you need is emotional coherence. Thought and feeling saying the same thing. Mind and body no longer contradicting each other. That is the signal that creates. That is the state that bends timelines. Ask yourself, can I trust the feeling more than the facts? Can I hold the state even when the evidence hasn't shown up yet? Can I stay loyal to the future version of me when the past still whispers my name? Because that's the mastery. That's the real shift. And when you choose it, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing. You stop proving. You stop checking the mirror, because the mirror begins to reflect you automatically. You stop needing it to change. And because you stop needing, it changes. The field responds to coherence, to consistency, to the vibration of someone who isn't waiting anymore, someone who isn't hopping anymore, someone who feels it now. That's the version of you reality bends around. So don't wait, don't postpone the future you keep imagining. Feel it now. Feel the freedom now. Feel the love now. Feel the abundance now. Not someday, not later. Now, because what you feel, you fuel. And what you fuel, you become. This is the secret most people miss. You're not chasing the new reality. You're collapsing into it. And the collapse happens the moment you make the feeling safe enough to hold. The moment you stop negotiating with the past and decide the future is already here. So here's the invitation. Make the feeling of your chosen reality your new baseline. Return to it again and again, not to get something, but because it's who you are. And the more you live there, the faster reality reorganizes itself to meet you there. Every reality is false until you feel it's real. And the instant you feel it as real, it stops being potential. It becomes presence. Not tomorrow, not in theory, but now.